Welcome to the City of Miami Commission meeting for November 27th. Where am I? It's been one of those mornings. Okay. It is, yeah. It's been a week. I tell you, it's been a week. Again, welcome to the commission meeting for February 26, 2026. I am joined by my colleagues, Commissioner Damian Pardo, Commissioner Miguel. Why am I drawing a blank? Because I want to say your middle name, Angel Gabella, because he is an angel. I'm here with Commissioner Escalona, and is Commissioner Rosado here? Momentarily. So I have my entire commission plus our mayor. Good morning. And we are going to get this meeting going. We have, as always, our pastor, Pastor Thompson, will be here to say the prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day that we've never seen and shall never see again. God, we certainly thank you for this great city. We thank you for its leadership. And God, we ask now that you cover this city. Amen. We ask that you bless this commission, bless the mayor, bless the city manager, bless every department head. God, keep this city safe. And God, we invoke your presence in this meeting. God, we pray that you breathe on us as we do the work that you have called us to do. And God, we ask this in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. And at this time, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Would you please read your statement for the record?
Of course. George Wysong, City Attorney. May it please the Commission. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with the related city requirements. For lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until so registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available at the Office of City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose, before the hearing, any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. The meeting of the Miami City Commission is a limited public forum. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 9:45 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. 9:15 a.m. Any person making offensive remarks or who becomes unruly in City Commission chambers will be barred from further attending City Commission meetings and may be subject to arrest. No clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks shall be permitted. No signs or placards shall be allowed in the Commission chambers. Persons exiting the Commission chambers shall do so quietly. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment forum will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided here live at City Hall at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the members of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk's office. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.01144C Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by City staff and the City Attorney's Office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. For planning and zoning items, PZ items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, appellee, may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the City Clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida Statute Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Madam City Clerk?
Good morning, Chair. The procedures for individuals who will be providing testimony to be sworn in for today's planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items for today's City Commission meeting agenda will be as follows. The members of City staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the Assistant City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth and these uniform rules of procedures we have established for this meeting?
Yes, thank you.
Chair, may I proceed with administering the oath?
Please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you will be speaking on today's planning and zoning items, that's any of the planning and zoning items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give at today's meeting is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response, please? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, do you have any items on this agenda that will be withdrawn and/or deferred?
Morning, Madam Chair, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. At this time, the administration would like to defer or withdraw the following items. PZ2 to be indefinitely deferred, PZ3 to be indefinitely deferred, PZ4 to be withdrawn, and PZ6 to be deferred to 4/23.
Thank you. Gentlemen, do you have any items that you would like to withdraw or defer from the agenda? Commissioner Pardo? Commissioner Gabella? Commissioner Rosado? Okay. At this time, may I have a motion to set the agenda?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda has been set. At
And
this,
Chair, my apologies, just briefly. I just need two statements to read into the record. Pursuant to Section 62-22 of the City Code, and definitely deferred action initiated by the city will cost the city mail noticing, advertising, and posting of properties as applicable. And one additional statement for sponsor and co-sponsor requests, Mayor Higgins will be co-sponsoring RE4, Chair King will be sponsoring FL1, Commissioner Pardo will be co-sponsoring RE4 and RE5, Commissioner Rosado will be co-sponsoring RE4. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. At this time, if anyone would like to speak on behalf of any item before us, please step forward to the lectern, 5 at a time. Oh, I'm sorry. There are 2 pocket items. Mr. City Attorney, would you please announce those for the record?
Yes, Madam Chair. Pocket item 1, a resolution of the Miami City Commission expressing its support for the preservation of the Miami-Dade Urban Development Boundary, UDB, as it currently exists, to protect downstream water resources, including the Biscayne Aquifer, regional groundwater supplies, and connected coastal waters, as well as the Everglades wetlands and agricultural lands, encouraging advancement of attainable and workforce housing within the UDB to address housing affordability without expanding development into environmentally sensitive lands, urging the Miami-Dade County Board of County Commissioners to uphold County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava's veto of the proposed text amendment to the County Comprehensive Development Master Plan, further urging the Florida State Legislature to oppose any legislation that would weaken the UDB and the Miami-Dade County Charter, directing the city clerk to transmit this resolution to the officials designated herein and providing for an effective date. The second pocket item is a resolution of the Miami City Commission issuing a noise waiver pursuant to Chapter 36, Section 36-4 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, City Code titled Noise Operation of Radios, Phonographs, or Other Sound-Making Devices, Bands, Orchestras, and Musicians, generally exemption, and Chapter 36, Section 36-5 of the City Code titled Same, Hours of Operation of Jukeboxes, Radios, etc., exemption for events on city-owned property, relaxation, and an extension of alcohol sales through 5 a.m. pursuant to Section 4-3.b of the City Code titled Hours During Which Sales Allowed, Permits and Public Hearing Required for the NRD 1 located in the Wynwood neighborhood and within the Magic City Innovation District area special plan for the following special events: Winter Music Conference from March 25 through March 29, 2026, Formula One Grand Prix events from April 30 through May 3rd, 2026, FIFA World Cup events June 11 through June 14, 2026, and July 16 through July 19, 2026, Art Basel events from December 3rd through December 6, 2026, and New Year's Eve holiday events from December 31st, 2026 through the morning of January 1st, 2027. That concludes the 2 pocket items, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk?
Thank you, Chair. And for the record, the resolution pertaining to preservation of the Miami-Dade Urban Development Boundary will be identified as PI1, and the resolution pertaining to noise waiver for special events will be identified as agenda item PI2. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Good morning. Oh, I was going to go ladies first, but that's why. Go ahead, Elvis.
Elvis Cruz on item PZ1. I participated extensively in the Miami 21 legislative process from 2005 to 2010. This assembly of 17 lots and closing 64th Terrace would enable the type of big box building Miami 21 promised to prevent, a building that's 496 feet long. That's why Miami 21 set a maximum lot size of 40,000 square feet, yet this project has a lot size over 141,000 square feet, more than 3.5 times the legal limit. As the PZAB said, this makes a mockery of Miami 21. I've seen this movie in this theater many times. They've got it backwards. Instead of designing a project to fit the rules, they want you to change the rules to fit their project. Their attorney made at least 7 false or misleading statements. I filed a bar complaint. The UDRB hated the big box and set a condition to break it into at least 2 or 3 smaller buildings. Please place the same conditions the UDRB did and do not close the streets. At the January 28th community meeting, at least 40 people voted to keep the street open. Only 4 voted to close it, a 10-to-1 margin. Why isn't the will of the people being respected? Please reject any covenant that doesn't grant legal standing to the public. It would be so nice if the city of Miami placed a higher priority on protecting neighborhoods and the public instead of enabling developer profits. On RE2, please keep elections in November. August makes no sense. On PZ7, please vote no. We already have far too much allowable density. And on PZ8, a tile roof is well worth it for longevity and historic compatibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mariela Lopez, 661 Northeast 68th Street. Might just wait. Hi. I'm here to talk about, to please vote no to close Northeast 64th Terrace. We've been battling this for a very long time. I have packets here with Debbie Standard prepared for all the commissioners. I gave one already to the mayor and Rosado, explaining that the true benefits were not discussed thoroughly and that we're actually giving away the street. If we do close this street, it will set a precedent for further streets in the city to be closed as well, to fit the developer's whim that he wants to fit whatever he's building, however he's building. And this is not correct because this is a tax-paying dollar street. This is the public street, and it should remain a public street because then we know that in the future, other developers will ask same, and you will have to give them that street because this will set a precedent. And I also want to say that I'm kind of disappointed because our leader of our district misguided us in believing that this street was not going to be closed, and now here we are. The majority of the people in our residence in Bayside Historic, this box is abutting a historic Legion Park. It's 3.5 times the size of Miami 21, like Elvis said. Really, I mean, you guys are leaders. It's really about time that you lead and stop being politicians, that you listen to your constituents and what they really need and what they really want, and stop ignoring it and go with developers' will, because we're the ones that live in the city, we're the ones that pay the taxpayers, and we're the ones that have to live with the chaos. So please vote no on please don't close Northeast 64th Terrace. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Elisa Margulies. I live at 3333 Rice Street in Center Grove. I'm here to talk about PZ7 and RE2. Not all legislation has to be one size fits all. In the case of PZ7, residents that live in the Grove Conservation District didn't ask for this, and we don't want it. I came here today to ask my District 2 Commissioner to please have the entire NCD excluded from PZ7. While I do believe the legislation was sponsored with good intentions, the potential for exploitation in the NCD would be too tempting for certain developers. It's nearly impossible for regular citizens to compete with a system that gives lawyers and lobbyists full access to our legislators, particularly since we don't have a seat at the same table to challenge or refute their recommendations or their version of the facts. As a result, many Grove residents live in a constant state of red alert. We see our sidewalks hijacked, our family-friendly neighborhood dismantled piece by piece, tree by tree, only to be replaced with large buildings completely out of character and scale. The traffic has become unbearable. It is for these reasons we hope our commissioner recognizes that PZ7 is not a good fit for the Grove. RE2. If the intent is to increase voter participation, then a date of August 18th is really confusing. How does having a separate election in August benefit the electorate? At a time of budget shortfalls, this seems like an unnecessary expense. It was my understanding that there is a similar proposal for November when voter turnout would be higher. For me, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission, and Madam Mayor. My name is Oren Rosenthal. I'm the General Counsel for the Miami-Dade County Supervisor of Elections, whose address is 2700 Northwest 87th Avenue. I'm here to talk about item RE2 on behalf of the Supervisor. Can you hear me now? I'm here to talk on behalf of the Supervisor of Elections, who unfortunately is at a supervisors meeting in Jacksonville and couldn't be here today. She asked me to convey a few of her thoughts on item RE2 regarding the election. The supervisor is fully in support of moving City of Miami elections to the August primary and to the November general election concurrent with countywide elections. This would not only save the City of Miami a lot of money for not having to have a separately paid-for election at a separate time, either in an off year or in December, but it would also allow the city of Miami to leverage the enormous amount of statewide and county resources that go into conducting a countywide election, whether it be early voting, advertising, or even the polling places. So she is in full support of that. What the supervisor is not in support of is changing the election cycle so that the mayor and the city commission elections are on different election cycles. That would have the perverse effect of decreasing the turnout in elections for only city commissioners if they're not on the same elections as the city mayor. In fact, in your last few elections for city commission, when the mayor was not on the ballot, you had between a 10 to 12% turnout. When you had the mayor on the ballot, you had about a 20% turnout. And so you should make sure that you keep your elections for commissioner and mayor at the same time, and we would recommend it being on August to November. If any of the members have any questions when the item comes up, I'll try and stay in the audience and be available for questions on behalf of the supervisor. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to speak about PZ7, RE2, and PZ1. My name is Henrietta Schwarz. I live at 2627 South Bay Shore Drive. On PZ7, I want to thank my D2 commissioner for promising to carve out Coconut Grove NCDs from this agenda item. And a big thanks to Javier, who said, I quote, "Either way, as I mentioned above, all Coconut Grove will be excluded." A huge sigh of relief. And curiosity at the sponsor of this measure, who 2 weeks ago was talking about devious developers taking control of churches in her district. PZ7 is just another developer boondoggle. Coconut Grove is a true neighborhood where people actually say good morning to each other. We talk to each other, and lately, more and more of us are rallying together to help offset the more egregious desires of the city/developers. Customer service is a high priority for the mayor. This customer is saddened by the constant maneuvering that benefits developers over residents. Miami 21 was conceived as a blueprint to grow our city, a way to save neighborhoods, manage growth, and expand the tree canopy. This proposal will definitely give our city more shade, but not from trees. It will be from outsized buildings blocking the sun. I urge commissioners to rethink this agenda item. As for RE2, it's a great idea. I hope this will be a precursor to expanding the districts. Brava, Mayor Higgins. Lastly, will the mayor please get back to Hank Klein and Lisa Sloat? They are the couple who got mowed over by the EV bike a few months ago. I know he's written to you. They could use some encouraging words of commitment to guard the safety of pedestrians. And wouldn't it be nice if the commission agenda had an item about pedestrian safety? I've been waiting for 3 years.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Deborah Stander, 830 Northeast 74th Street. Commissioners, I'm here today to ask you to be responsible stewards of the public interest. You're voting today on PZ1, which would vacate Northeast 64th Terrace, a public street that provides access to the Upper East Side's well-loved and well-used historic Legion Park and Community Center. Street vacations create substantial value. This street is 13,791 square feet at roughly $100 per square foot, which is the average price of the adjacent lots. If handed over to the developer, that's about $1.4 million in land value alone. If folded into a 6-story project, it could yield more than 80,000 square feet of additional development capacity. What is that worth? No one has publicly calculated it. The same is true of the upzoning from T5R to T68, approved by the City Commission in late 2024. What is the economic benefit to the developer? No one knows because there's never been any public analysis. In return, the developer is offered a cash contribution, which mysteriously fluctuates from $200,000 for park improvements 1 month when presented to PZAB in 2024 to a month later, before the City Commission, $500,000 payable to the district office, a last-minute substitution bundled and voted on without discussion. And now, following objections voiced by residents, $1 million is being offered again to the district office. What criteria were involved in establishing these payments? Who will oversee an account for how the money is spent? No one knows because none of this has ever been publicly vetted or even discussed.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'll just finish my one last thing. Commissioners, before vacating public land and granting significant development value, you must conduct transparent due diligence on what is being given and what is being received. Please ensure that analysis is completed before this project is allowed to move forward.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Becca de la Cerda. I'm the attorney representing the owner at 5830 Northwest 12th Avenue regarding PZ4. We understand that this is being withdrawn, and we're here to support that in an abundance of caution. And that's all my comments for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Pastor Thompson, the president of the African American Council of Christian Clergy, here to speak on FR3, the Interfaith Council. I come to share that I believe that council will be very important for the city of Miami. As you know, relationships are important. So when we have a relationship with the interfaith community has a relationship with the community at large, and it will work on both sides. It will work for the commission, it will work for the mayor, it will work for the manager. So I believe it will be a great asset to the city of Miami to create an interfaith council. In doing so, it can kind of, in my opinion, help the mayor make certain decisions as it relates to her staff. The mayor has every right to move who she wants to move. The mayor has every right to replace who she wants to replace. But sometimes it's not what we do, it's how we do what we do. I think the move of Barbara Sweet and Gail Say was a move that was tone deaf. I think it was insensitive. I think the timing was bad. We're dealing with Black History Month. We're dealing with losing one of our icons, Jesse Jackson, and she did not take that into consideration. I'm a man who does not take things personal. I'm about being purposeful. The city manager can attest to that. There was a young man that was being treated very wrong in the fire department. I contacted the city manager. He had a relationship with pastors in our community, and that young man, just to speed it up, he went back into the academy, he graduated, and now he's a firefighter.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it? Can I say one last thing?
One last thing.
Okay. In my community, very quick, we have a bulk pickup on Tuesdays. And every Monday, we put our stuff out for the bulk pickup to pick it up. But every Monday, without fail, a man comes by in a pickup truck and pick up what we deem not valuable anymore. So I'm asking the commission, what the mayor has put out, you all pick up and let these two women get back to work to serve our community.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm late here today, and you guys are starting on time, and I want to thank you all. It's been a long time since this commission started on time for the people. I want to speak about, I've been coming here for over 4 decades. Commissioner Pardo, J.L. Plummer was a young man sitting in your seat when I first spoke down here. Anyway, the city's always been growing, and growing means development. We all know that. Now, back 40 years ago, when we were short of schools, the magic words were it's for the children. And this commissioner, all the boards, oh, if it's for the children, it wouldn't get the scrutiny sometimes these development needed. Now, the magic words are affordable housing. Affordable housing from the state all the way down through the county. It greases the skids, but that magic word, it's not for the kids anymore. A lot of it's for the developers. And it doesn't get the scrutiny that it requires. I'm speaking on PZ7 and RD2. There's other ways to accommodate the housing crisis that we know we have. I would like to, Mayor Higgins, I would like to facilitate a meeting with the architects of Miami 21, Liz Plater-Zyberk and Andres Dewani, who I'm sure you know and have met. I think they'd love to sit down with you and tell you about all the different ways we could accommodate the housing crisis without just doing high-rises in every neighborhood everywhere. We know they're the cheapest, easiest to build, but there's better ways to do it, to preserve our neighborhoods and our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Rob Piper, 1401 Southwest 17th Terrace in Shenandoah. I'm here to speak on RE2 and to thank Madam Mayor for taking the leadership and doing the right thing and moving these elections to even years to ensure turnout. And I just wanted to ask the commissioners if they could do the right thing as well and have their elections moved to even years as well. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Billy Corbin here on AC1. The ghost of Joe Carollo haunts this house. And from beyond the political grave, he continues to steal from the taxpayers and wants all of you to be his co-conspirators after the fact. You're going to have a shade meeting today on the 4th ball and chain lawsuit that you are going to lose. And it is going to cost the city over $100 million. How do I know you're going to lose it? Because you're 3-0 with ball and chain lawsuits. You lost the first one for $63.5 million, the second one for $12.5 million, the third one where you illegally tried to seize their private property and demolish it, you lost that one too. And they told you, the city attorney and your outside counsel told you were going to win. They told you because they wanted to keep the outside counsel grift alive, so you would spend good money after bad. And it has to stop, okay? The city attorney's office is lying to you. Okay, the only case that they want you to settle is $1.5 million to Joe Carollo. By the way, you guys were here with Joe Carollo, the three of you. Did you know the entire time he was up here belittling plaintiffs when the assistant city attorney Kevin Jones was talking about how insulting plaintiffs, saying anyone with $400 can sue the city, they're just trying to extort us? Did you know that he had a conflict of interest, that he was a plaintiff this entire time trying to take $1.5 million away from the city? That's crazy. And they want you to settle that case? Come on, you got to put a stop to this. You have to, okay? When Joe Carollo owes the city and the taxpayers tens of millions of dollars in outside attorney's fees, and if the city attorney's office had done their job and sued Joe Carollo and started collections, you guys might have leverage in that settlement. Say, sure, we'll give you $1.5 million, but we'll count that towards the debt that you owe the taxpayers. So please, stop the waste, fraud, and abuse, stop the grift, okay? And please terminate the city attorney and his deputy city attorneys, and put the pieces of this broken city back together again. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners and Madam Mayor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story. My name is Christy Garcia, and I'm here to speak on DI-1. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Miami and Miami-Dade County. I'm the mother of Evelyn Valdez. On June 14, 2025, my daughter Evelyn was gunned down on the streets of Miami and Wynwood while celebrating her 28th birthday. We were initially told that Evelyn was caught in a crossfire of a police-involved shooting. To my surprise, 3 weeks later, we were called in to meet with Police Chief Morales. During this meeting, we were told that it was an officer's round that struck my beautiful daughter and took her life. Manny Morales seemed almost unaffected that his officers gunned down my daughter, Evelyn, an innocent 28-year-old social worker on the streets of Miami. She was simply a passerby inside a vehicle when the city of Miami police officers decided to open fire on a crowded street as a nightclub let out. The nature of my daughter's homicide seemed like nothing more than Chief Morales' day-to-day routine. Over the last 8 months, my family and I have grieved deeply and prayed for justice, only to find out that all 3 police officers involved in the shooting that evening have been returned to work prior to any conclusion on the FDLE investigation. Over the last 8 months, we have been left with more questions than answers. Every single day that the facts around my daughter's death are shrouded in secrecy by Chief Morales and his department is another day that justice is being withheld. We will get justice for my daughter. Evelyn Valdez. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners and Madam Mayor. My name is Jose Valdez. I am here to speak on item DI-1. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am the brother of Evelyn Valdez. My sister and I were raised in and around the same community where she lost her life on June 14, 2025. Evelyn was out celebrating her 28th birthday in Wynwood when she was struck and killed by an officer's round during a police-involved shooting. She was an innocent passerby inside a vehicle on a crowded street as a nightclub let out. Evelyn was a dedicated social worker and a former therapist of Christie House. Serving our community every day, over the last 8 months, our family has sought answers and justice. We learned that the officers involved were returned to duty just 13 days after the incident, before the FDLE investigation was concluded, and we have been left with more questions than answers. As key facts remain shrouded in secrecy by the department, every day without full transparency is another day justice is delayed for Evelyn and our family. As this body begins the search for Chief Morales' successor, I ask that you remember my sister Evelyn Valdez and how proper leadership and oversight in the police department could have prevented this tragedy. The next chief of police should be an individual of the highest moral character, someone who sets the precedent for the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and awareness of public safety while policing. This means prioritizing qualifications such as proven experience in fostering accountability, promoting transparent investigations, building community trust through engagement, and ensuring ethical use of force policies that protect both officers and residents. We will continue to seek justice for Evelyn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. RE2 continues of movement. 47 months ago, Commissioner, you'll remember that the question of how to govern the city of Miami and represent its people began here in this chamber. At that time, only 4 people now in this room were present. You, Mr. Hannon, myself, and Ms. McConnell. Since that time, every other political and administrative leader has left this room. That fact tells an important story. In that moment, many ordinary citizens, you'll remember, had quietly given up on Miami. Structural reform was resisted, accountability was opposed. At every measure, people felt locked out of their government, but responsible voters incrementally change the system as they must. Each of you sits here because you ran campaigns and you fought the system that was then in place. You incrementally fought and won. You gained moral authority, and the moral authority you gained is incredibly important. Over the last 4 years, you've each advanced 4 reforms in your own way. The mayor has had the bold leadership of advancing RE2 to increase voter participation. But structural reform cannot be accomplished piecemeal. Today, I stand with 20,000 other petitioners, 20,000 to advance the cause of Stronger Miami. Participation is progress. Stronger Miami advances it. Miami is growing up. Its governance system must grow up. You have the ability to do that together. Don't wait 4 to 6 years. Advance it now. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Ana Sofia Pelais. I am the Executive Director of Miami Freedom Project and a resident of the City of Miami District 3. I'm speaking on item RE2, and while I applaud Mayor Higgins for the item to move the mayoral election from 2029 to 2028 and lead by example in voluntarily shortening her own term, this is only one part of the reforms that would ensure that the City of Miami is genuinely responsive to its constituents and able to ensure representative and equitable governance for all of its residents. As part of the Stronger Miami Coalition, I joined over 20,000 individuals in demanding comprehensive reform that includes, yes, even year elections, but also expands the commission to better represent its almost 500,000 residents and establishes real redistricting standards so that neighborhoods stay together and residents get the representation they deserve. I urge commissioners to adopt the full slate of charter reforms proposed by the Stronger Miami petition to the 2026 ballot. The moment calls for transformational change, and we urge commissioners to meet residents where they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
My name is Gina Romero. I work with Florida Rising. We need to put a Stronger Miami package on the ballot 2026. I am one of the 20,000 voices in support of this. I think that 20,000 make the difference in elections, and please support a Stronger Miami in the ballots. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Mi nombre es Antonia Catalán. La corrupción es una enfermedad que afecta a
Señora,
la
señora,
democracia.
do we have a translator for her?
Mi nombre es Antonia Catalán.
We're still waiting on them to get
La
here,
cor-
so we're going to need some assistance. Just a moment, please.
Okay. Perdón. Un momento, señora.
Voy a leerlo porque luego yo no me lo aprendo de memoria. Ok, si usted quiere yo lo puedo leer. Por favor. Pero esto es lo que me interesa. Ok, ¿y cuál es su nombre? Antonia Catalán. Antonia Catalán.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Antonia Catalan, and let me see. The corruption in this commission is a sickness that affects the democracy when one has a system of, when there is a system of money and when the resources are limited. This is a remedy that will be included in the package to the reform of the Stronger Miami in the next electoral ballot. The city is ready for a change, and us, the residents and voters, we are here in the first line of defense to ask for change now.
Can you have her state her name again for the record?
Antonia? Antonia Catalan, for the record. And I come here from Homestead.
Gracias. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Gabriela. I do live in Miami. We need the Stronger Miami to put on the ballot. The corruption needs to stop. There's more than 20K voices, and there's more than 20K people signing this petition. Please help us. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Chair, if I could have the speaker's name for the record?
Gabriela Ibarra.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Hena Pantoja.
So I ask the commission to please continue listening to us, the resident of the city of Miami. I am one of the 20,000 voices that are in support of the Stronger Miami. Stronger Miami is fighting for a new reform, which is very simple, to increase the participation of voters and 20,000 people that are already doing this. We are on the same accord with this commission. We want it to be more transparent, dynamic, and democratic. There have been 20,000 petitions already signed, and there is more participation in this election. The corruption is a sickness that is affecting our democracy when there is a system that only takes care of dollars. This is the remedy that the Strong Miami petition will have already included. The city is ready for change, and us, the residents and voters, we are here fighting, and we ask the commission for the change. She just wants to thank the commission.
Gracias. You want to read it for me? Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Maria Gonzalez, 436 Northeast 77th Street Road, and I'm here for PZ1. I'm asking to please vote no to grant this developer Northeast 64th Terrace. By doing so, you are enabling a 2-square block building with 337 units, which means more cars in an already compromised Biscayne Boulevard. There are few cut-throughs on Biscayne Boulevard, unlike other communities where traffic can move through an area. It will be a gridlock on Biscayne Boulevard if this goes through. Please listen to your constituents. They spoke loud, clear on January 28th Town Hall meeting. Thank you for having that, Commissioner King, which had a substantial turnout of about 50-plus residents who opposed to this large development. Only 4 to 5 expressed a preference for the vacation of 64th Terrace. The constituents were promised that 64th Terrace would not be vacated. Here we are siding with the wishes of the developer without any proper communication to the community of why this change happened. Only comments was that our commissioner was misinformed. What deal happened behind closed doors? We have a right to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? Seeing none, public comment period is now closed. Gentlemen, may I have a motion for pocket item 1 and pocket item 2?
Move. So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, are there any items in the CA agenda that you would like to pull for discussion? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Let me say it for the record. CA 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 passes unanimously. Gentlemen, are there any of the 2 PH1 or 2 that you would like to pull for discussion? No? May I have a motion for PH1 and PH2?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, are there any items in the RE items that you would like to pull for discussion?
RE6.
RE6,
RE2.
RE2. Any others? Okay. May I have a motion to pass RE1, 3, 4, 5, and 7?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Items passes unanimously. Commissioner Pardo?
Yeah, on RE2, I just wanted to address the August election cycle versus the November election cycle. For the last 2 years, we've been working on the November election cycle because that's the one where you can get 69 to 70% voter participation. The reason it's important for that to be the first go-round so that all candidates are exposed to that 70% participation. So there's kind of maximum openness to listening from candidates. That's why it was always structured November with the runoff in December. There's nobody really here in August. August is not, even our city government in August is kind of on vacation. I mean, that's when people typically take it. There are 20 municipalities in November that also joined that cycle. There's only 2 in August. The turnout in August is about 18-20%, which is our current turnout in the city of Miami. So it kind of goes in a very different direction than what we've been working on for 2 years. And the rest of it is great. So if there's a way to change that to November, I'd certainly support it.
Any others?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner.
I believe that only addressed the first part of what the gentleman explained here, but you also explained, do you mind? You made a couple of points. One of those was the mayor having her election by herself, right?
That's correct. The supervisor would oppose separating the mayor from the city commission elections because that would depress turnout in the city commission elections were they to be held at a standalone election.
So that needs to be fixed. I believe we should keep the elections as we did before, us with the mayor. I don't mind losing a year. I really don't care. I do oppose to have the elections in August. I believe November, December makes more sense. That's to the body. I don't know if any of you have any opinions.
Commissioner Cabela.
I kind of agree. I'm not for the year. I never have been for the year, one way or the other, up or down. I've said it on the record from the beginning when this was started, but I also agree that it should be, everybody at the same time.
Yes, Madam Chair, through the chair. Since it's the mayor's item, I'd love to hear the mayor's thoughts on this.
Through the chair. Yes, colleagues, this item does something very important, which is you all agree, I think, or most of us agree, we need to move elections to even number years. The supervisor of elections is required by state law at no cost to our city to run 2 elections a year. The August election, which is a major countywide election, every single precinct is stood up, which means our commission races would already be stood up with precincts. The mayoral race would be stood up with precincts. All of the notice, all those things are carried out by the supervisor of elections, no cost to the city. That is the typical election cycle. The August in a presidential year has very, very high turnout. Obviously, Commissioner, you are correct that the November turnout is larger. The problem is if you put the first round in the November big turnout election, right, and when there's 3 candidates in a race, there's going to be a runoff. You are talking after a presidential or a gubernatorial, running a runoff election for, could be mayor, but certainly for commissioners, with an electorate that's exhausted from a presidential and from listening to all of that. You're also talking about doing it, I had a conversation, the supervisor of elections called me yesterday, with a team at the supervisor of elections who will have just finished dozens and dozens of elections, continuing to count provisional ballots, continuing to possibly have to deal with recounts, and then be standing up early voting. And she mentioned that early voting might even be a problem in December in even number years. So for me, I think we should be on the election cycle of the entire rest of the county, the entire rest of the state, the entire rest of the federal government. It saves us money. It saves us work. Those elections are running, and that's why I proposed the August-November time horizon.
Commissioner Pardo.
On going from the general to the runoff, this last cycle here in the city of Miami was a very good example. We had 21%, and then we also had 21% in the runoff. So with a month, I think that gives the campaigns plenty of time to track down their votes and get them out there. I know it's additional work for the supervisor of elections. I know that there's a slightly larger cost element if we go this way, maybe $500,000. But I mean, we spend, $500,000 on 4th of July. I mean, this is something that we should seriously consider always shooting for the highest turnout, which is that 69-70%. That's 3 times the turnout that we would have. So anyway, that's my thinking.
Anyone else?
By the way, I just want to say one thing because, I heard somebody say that we should go from, to do more commissioners here. I'd like to ask a question. The county has 13 commissioners, right? I believe, if I'm not wrong, and I'd like that count, how many people they represent. And I think it's about the same thing. As a matter of fact, in the city of Miami, we represent actually less people. I think it's 90 to 100,000 people per commissioner compared to the county. So if we're going to increase here, in the city of Miami, are we also going to increase it in the county? Because I'd like to know. We are, in actual fact, we are representing less people, which is, the whole idea is that if you represent a lot of people, there should be more commissioners, right? But the county in actual fact, represents a lot more people than we do. And I don't see anybody going over there and saying, you guys should increase from 13 commissioners to now, 14 or 15 commissioners. Just want to state that on the record. And by the way, and let me also state on the record that they mentioned they had 20,000 signatures. They have 7,203 certified signatures as of today. Okay? Thank you.
Call the question?
One, it seems as if one of the things, and the supervisor election called me, one of the big hangups is that you don't only want to move the mayor, you want to move the commission as well. And it seems as if this body is not in favor of that. So I'm wondering if perhaps we can defer this item, Madam Mayor, to...
If I may ask the attorney, when does the ballot language need to be ready for submission?
According to the Supervisor of Elections, May 22nd is our deadline to be fully ready. So that gives us a couple commission meetings.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that as long as we resolve it in time to get it on the ballot and not make it even harder for the Supervisor of Elections to run the August election.
I'm okay with that.
So may I have a motion to defer?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
To what date? There's only one meeting in March.
First meeting in April?
First meeting in April? April 9th.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Commissioner Rosado, you pulled RE6.
I did, Madam Chair, because I'm a little surprised to see this item again. I thought this matter was, the racial discrimination settlement item was addressed at the last meeting. I'm sorry, the alleged racial discrimination settlement item was addressed at the last meeting. So I'm wondering why this item has been brought up again.
Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, as you may recall, at the last City Commission meeting, the item of the settlement came up. There was a motion to approve. That received a vote of 2 in favor, 3 opposed. So there was essentially no action on the item. After the meeting, we received a call from one of your colleagues who requested that it be placed back on the agenda, and we asked the agenda office to place it back on the agenda.
Okay. Have any of the facts changed? I mean, I think we heard clearly from Chief Morales that he believes himself to be innocent and wanted to have his day in court. Which part of that has changed?
So the case is the exact same. The settlement terms are exactly the same. The only thing that is slightly different is, or just so that you know, and I can have my Chief Assistant City Attorney indicate the dates. This case is going to be set for trial very, very soon. So after the meeting, the court was notified that the City Commission did not accept the settlement, and then instructed the attorneys to get together to provide for a date when the trial could occur. So the court has not officially designated a date, but we anticipate it will be in the very near future. So in our view, whether you vote up or down, we just need a vote one way or the other so that we can appropriately notify the court whether we're settling or not, and then proceed to trial if we have to.
Now, I've made it a point to read each of the depositions involved in this case. This is Morales' deposition, and I hope my colleagues have had the same opportunity to review them as well. And I'll tell you what I've seen in that document is makes me really uncomfortable. It's pretty disconcerting. Now, the chief is not offering to spend $400,000 from his pocket. These are taxpayer dollars that we're actually talking about. And so I have to tell you, I have a fiscal duty and an ethical obligation to root out discriminatory behavior in any forms that takes place in the city. I think we all do, and I certainly think the manager does. And so, Mr. Manager, if there's even a hint of discrimination in any of our departments, and certainly against the hardworking men and women in blue, what is being done? Because as far as I'm concerned, I think a vote to settle this item, I think it can only be interpreted as basically sweeping this matter under the rug.
Hang on a minute. Let me just be very clear, crystal clear, because I gotta answer him.
Wait, hold on one second. Let him finish, and then I'll acknowledge you. You
No,
done?
that was my question. I'm not done, but that's my question to the manager.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair. Commissioner, ultimately, whether this case is heard or whether we settle is up to the board. It does not fall in my office. In fact, what it shows is a level of transparency from the city manager's office for this case to, in fact, land before you today. So this person who had an allegation was heard. The process has worked, and now it's before you today.
Commissioner Gabella?
Yeah, in actual fact, let me state it on the record that I was the one, I believe, that the last commission meeting, I brought it forward and I voted to settle. And the reason I did that is not to sweep it under the rug by any means of the imagination. The reason I do that because every time I go to a SHE meeting or any meeting, and those that have been here long enough know that I always make it my decisions on a business decision for the taxpayer, okay? Not a personal, vendetta or anything else. So while the chief may have committed or not committed an act of discrimination, which I don't know because I wasn't there, mine is a business decision on behalf of the taxpayer. I have a fiduciary duty, just like all of us here, to protect the taxpayer. And when I asked George Wyson in the last meeting, what do you think? My number one question is, how much is it going to take us to get us there to trial? How much money are we going to spend on behalf of the taxpayer? Number two question, okay, what are the odds we're going to win or we're going to lose? And if George Wyson or the city attorney, whoever that happens to be at the time, tells me that the odds are high that we're going to lose, and then it turns out that we have to pay attorney's fees, and that settlement could be in excess of $1.2 million, then that's when I say, okay, you know what? Let's settle it for $400,000. It seems cheap to me for $400,000. Now, I'm not settling on principle. I'm settling on behalf of the taxpayer again and our fiduciary duty. So while I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Rosado, and I respect that, and I don't want any discrimination either in any of the departments. Anybody knows me that, I'm against that completely, okay? Also, we wear two caps here, and one of the caps that wears, like I said, the fiduciary duty that we have to the taxpayer, and that's the reason why I voted, which it didn't go through, and somebody else voted with me, to accept this, and it was you, Commissioner Escalona, and that's the reason I think we both did it, because we want to save the taxpayer money, not because we're trying to sweep anything for the chief of police under the rug. I don't know if he's again culpable of what he's accused of or not, but I'm not going by that. I'm going by what the money that is going to cost the taxpayer, which could be well in excess of $1 million, and I leave it there. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes. Commissioner Rosado?
Yes. Commissioner, why is it that we're likely to lose? And maybe we shouldn't put that on the record as your attorney getting uncomfortable.
Yes.
But let's think about.
Well, let's ask the question right now. If you want to ask him the question right here, he's right here in front of us.
Let me just say, we should not get into the facts of this case. It is not
Exactly.
settled. And
Understood.
Listen,
anything you say
and-
can and will be used against us.
Thank you, George.
Understood. I just posed.
And this is ongoing litigation. It is ongoing litigation. It is not uncommon for the city to settle, and we should not base our decisions on other considerations, is what I'm trying to say, other things. So at this time, may I have a motion for RE6 for the settlement?
Madam Chair, before you take
Go
the vote,
ahead, I'm
respectfully.
sorry, I didn't know you, I thought you.
That's okay, thank you. To me, injustice anywhere, it's been said many times, is a threat to justice everywhere. I think a vote to settle this case is a vote for sweeping this under the rug and not standing for justice, and I, for one, stand for justice. And that is how I'm going to be voting, and I will be voting against settling this case.
Thank you.
All right.
May I have a motion?
Then you know what? I'm going to vote with him, but I'm going to state it on the record. If we lose, I don't want to be anybody to blame. Okay? If we lose and it turns out that we pay in the millions, okay, I want to be clear with the taxpayer. I stood up, I'm not covering anybody up here. I've had my problems here with, with some people, okay? And I'm the one that, questioned the chief the last time of what was going on, between you and him and other stuff in my district. So I don't sweep anybody under the rug, but I'm just trying to be correct with the taxpayer, okay? But, if you want to take it that route, I'll go with you. But I want to state it on the record. I wanted to settle to save the taxpayer money. If then we lose, I don't want to be blamed, okay? But I'm going to go with you on the basis of the principle. And then if we happen to, to lose, big time, and we're into the millions of dollars, okay, I want to make it clear that, what it is.
Do I have a motion for the settlement? Motion fails for, so there's just no vote
We'll just show it as discussed.
as discussed. Okay. Mr. City Attorney?
Madam Chair?
Madam?
Yeah, if I
Madam?
could, on one of the items that we passed, I just wanted to put a few ideas on the record on RE4 about the virtual inspections. The county's moved to virtual inspections for many things several years ago. Process is working very well. They do specific types first, train people using Teams and WhatsApp. It's pretty quick. You call for an appointment the day before. Your inspection is generally completed the next day and sometimes the same day. So, Mr. Manager, there may be an opportunity to actually send folks over the county to do some cross-training on how they're using Teams and WhatsApp to do things like raising existing roofs, solar panels, air conditioning units, pool permits. But it saves weeks and weeks of inconvenience for the residents. So thank you for bringing this item, Commissioner Escalona.
Mr. Manager?
And the mayor beat me to it. I just wanted to thank Commissioner Escalona and also Madam Mayor. We had that discussion with the commissioner in terms of shadowing county staff. So it's already been discussed and it's being planned.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the title of the second reading item for the record?
Yes, Madam Chair, there's one second reading item, SR1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission renaming certain City of Miami owned real property consisting of approximately 8,219 square feet located at 1 Southwest South River Drive, Miami, Florida, currently known as Simon Bolivar Park, as to Fisherman's Park, amending Chapter 38, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended City Code titled Parks and Recreation General by amending Section 38-30 of the City Code, currently titled Naming of Simon Bolivar Park, to rename the property designated therein as Fisherman's Park, further directing the city manager to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the renaming of the park, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
May I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the first reading items?
First reading, there are, I believe, 3 first reading items. First reading item 1, FR1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 40, Article 3, Section 128 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Personnel, Civil Service Rules and Regulations, Grievances and Abuses Generally, to establish Section 40-128C, titled Whistleblower Complaint, to provide directions to persons desirous of a hearing before the board pursuant to the Florida Whistleblower Act, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. FR2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 18, Article 3 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended City Code titled Finance City of Miami Procurement Ordinance by amending Section 18-119 titled Unsolicited Proposals to clarify the process of evaluating unsolicited proposals received by the city and providing for unsolicited proposals to be presented to the City Commission, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. There is a substitution for FR2, which will essentially change the language in the code to say the city manager shall notify the district commissioner representing the commission district in which the qualifying project is located, as identified in the unsolicited proposal, and brief the commissioner on the content of the unsolicited proposal within 15 days of receipt of said proposal. If the qualifying project includes real property located in more than one commission district, the city manager shall notify and brief each such district commissioner within 30 days of receipt of said proposal. If any such district commissioner desires to further consider the unsolicited proposal, the city manager must notify the commission, and then it continues on to the existing language. That is the substitution for FR2. FR3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 9 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, City Code titled Administration, Boards, Committees, Commissions Reserved, more specifically by amending Section 2-1121 through 2-1139 of the City Code to establish the Interfaith Advisory Council, stating the council's purpose, powers, duties, composition, appointment, qualifications, and requirements for membership, providing for officers, rules of procedure, meetings, quorums, legal and staff support, assignment of personnel waivers, other necessary provisions, and public notice containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. That concludes the first reading items.
Gentlemen, are there any of the first reading items that you would like to pull for discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to pull FR1 because I'm going to vote no on FR1 and yes on 2 and 3.
Okay. Any others? Anybody else? May I have a motion for FR2 and FR3?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Items passes. May I have a motion for FR1?
Could we defer it? As I understand it, it's...
This is a repeat of what we already have in the books. Is what
Yeah,
it is,
that's-
what we're-
So I wonder,
But this kind of came through a committee. I'm sorry, I'm speaking out of turn.
but my understanding, it is sort of redundant with some of the things that we already have in place. It's a good idea, but it seems like we have language, and I just wonder if somebody could present to the Civil Service Board and walk them through it, they may even withdraw it. I don't know that we want to like vote against it necessarily and send that message without an explanation. So I wonder if somebody could speak to them about it.
That would be our suggestion as well, is to have someone from the Civil Service Board, either their general counsel, the executive director, or a member come and let the city commission know why they think it's necessary.
So maybe a deferral?
Yeah. If you want to indefinitely defer it, that'll give them
Yeah,
time
an
to come at their
indefinite
leisure.
deferral to give time to speak with the...
You know, I'm
the
for
board.
voting it down right now. I've had enough briefings where, you know, it's a redundancy. It's you know, it's what we already have in the books. I mean, what more, we're going to beat this horse to death? There's no more, there's nothing
Yeah,
else, I mean, in my view, in my
And
opinion.
I just wanted to be clear, if you go down that route, the city does provide whistleblower protection. Actually, the state provides whistleblower protection per statute, and our city code through Rule 16 of the Civil Service Board also provides whistleblower protection. In our opinion, this is not necessary. We don't want the perception that if you vote no for this, that you're voting against whistleblower protection. That would not be the result. The employees would still be protected with whistleblower protection. Just to
Commissioner
clarify.
Pardo, I believe you wanted to
Yeah,
make some...
just my thinking is, you know, we have a lot of these boards, and these are volunteers who take time out of their day. They come and they make decisions, and they work hard to try to help our city. So if they've come to this conclusion, and we have not had the benefit to listen to their discussions, but if they've come to this conclusion, and our city attorney's office says, well, but it's not really here or there, I would support them, and I would rather support their item. And I'm also open to the idea that they can come here and explain why, you know, they would like to see it done in this format.
So the Civil Service Board chair, through the chair, is somebody that lives in my neighborhood that I'm frequently in touch with. So I'm happy to meet with him, because we just haven't had the chance to discuss this, and I'd like to hear sort of his thoughts on this. And I wonder if there's maybe something else that can be put forth that gets at the spirit of what they're hoping to achieve, that doesn't, you know, create duplication. So I'm happy to take that on and speak with him.
So do you want to defer this item?
An indefinite deferral to give us some time to do
So
that.
motion to defer indefinitely?
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the planning and zoning item titles for the record?
Yes, Madam Chair. The first planning zoning item to be ordinance is PZ5, second reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, amending Article 6 titled Supplemental Regulations to clarify auto-related commercial regulations, update associated design standards, and streamline the process for reestablishment of those recently operating, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. PZ 6, second reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, by amending Article 1 titled Definitions to introduce and clarify definitions related to vessels. PZ 6 was deferred? Yeah. Sorry. Disregard. PZ 6 is deferred. PZ 7, first reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, pardon me? PZ 5, second reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, amending Article 6, titled Supplemental Regulations, to clarify auto-related commercial regulations, update associated design standards, and streamline the process for the reestablishment of those recently operating, making findings, containing a severability clause, and providing for an effective date. I believe I read that already, but there is a substitution on PZ 5, which will have the effect of clarifying that the requirements for additional off-street parking and access standards shall only apply to facilities with more than 25 vehicles rather than facilities with 25 vehicles or more as written. So that would be the modification to PZ 5. We were in the middle of reading PZ 7, first reading ordinance, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission.
Mr. Manager.
Madam Chair, we're going to request a deferral on PZ 7 to April 9th.
Mr. City Clerk, do I need a vote for that? May I have a motion to?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I just add one comment? It sounds like we're going to make some adjustments for the Grove. But I actually, in reading this item, there is one of the things that's been traditionally in there is once this is done, the manager has to negotiate some kind of fee between 15 and 20%. I'm sorry, between 15 and 25%. And anytime you start a negotiation fee, it adds months and months to process. My suggestion is when this item comes back, that it picks a number like 20%, because then it just becomes administrative. You know, the team here is really working hard to make things more efficient for you and the residents. So I would suggest we do that. I'm happy to bring the item myself and let this just go as you wish, or if you would consider giving a concrete number rather than a big negotiation for it.
So we'll consider that as it's while it's working its way.
As well excluding NCD 2 and 3. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to defer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item is deferred.
And that concludes the ordinances in the PZ agenda.
Thank you, George. Gentlemen, are there any items remaining in the PZ items that you would like to pull for discussion?
No.
I will be voting no on PZ 1.
Okay. I want to pull PZ1 for discussion. That's my district. My neighbors are here to talk about the vacation of 64th Terrace. I'd like staff to come forward. Their statements were in fact true, that I was advised that 64th Terrace would not be closed. I did a lot of research and had staff do a lot of research. I had a meeting January 28th where folks showed up. I had the police department, the fire department, planning department, zoning department, public works to address this issue. 64th Terrace is a one-way street. It's this big.
Right, we almost on our border.
Right. 64th Terrace is a one-way street. It cannot be changed to do 2 lanes this way and that way. What I found out in my research is that 64th Terrace is held in trust by the city for the developer. It's not a city-owned street. Can staff confirm that?
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. Juvenal Santana, Director for the Department of Residence and Public Works. So when that land was originally subdivided and that road was created, it was dedicated for the perpetual use of the public and has a reversionary right should it no longer be serving its public need, then it can revert to the abutting property owners. We do not hold that land as fee simple. It always has the right to the original subdividers or their successors to take that land back through the process that's stipulated in our code.
So this process started before I got elected. They were in committee, but the significant point of that is that the street is held in trust for the developer since 18...
The original plat was from the 1919s or 1920s.
Something like that.
Yes.
And then in 1941, and now this. I sat on that road because it was a big thing. It's an irregular one-way that it kind of goes like that. It's very tiny. The only use for that street, and it is the truth because I've sat on that street, is parking for farmers market. I've gone on that street Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, during rush hour, not rush hour, after rush hour. That street, it has the most traffic during the farmers market, and people are parking on both sides of the street. My neighbors brought up the fact that I did community benefits. I did. And it's being held by District 5. It is for mitigating circumstances that result from this development, whatever that may be. It's traffic mitigation. There are several neighbors that are very adamant. I get emails all the time about what will happen with that money. It is not something that the district, Commissioner King, is going to determine what happens with that. It's going to be collective for the neighbors that are directly affected by traffic with this development. Palm Grove, Mimo, Bayside, who aren't here today because they're all in favor of this. That meeting that I had was to address the miscommunication that I received because I was told that the street wasn't going to be closed. The street, in fact, is going to be improved. They're going to widen it and make it a two-lane, but it still can't be, it's a one-way street. It still can't go this way and that way. Curiously, no one in that meeting asked any question of the fire chief with regards to safety and emergency, nor the police. The development is going to give much needed parking. You'll be able to park for free at the farmer's market, and during the rest of the week, people can park for free for 3 hours. Ride share is going to go along the street, so they're not closing the street. But again, it's not a well-used street. I appreciate my neighbor's advocacy. I know no one wants to give anything to the city. You don't want to give anything to the city. You don't want to give up a street, but you're not giving up the street. We're not giving the street to the developers. The street belongs to the developers. And the street is not used. It's not used regularly. Traffic is not heavy on that street. The street is used for parking for the farmers market. And we are addressing the shortage of parking, not just for the park, but for the businesses in the area, and it is much needed. In addition to the benefits that, for example, the $1 million that we're now going to get, it was $500,000, but for the aggravation of this misinformation that we received and to mitigate unintended consequences of this development, I got it up to $1 million for the community, not for me, for the community to address traffic mitigations. It is a good project, and this street vacation, I'm sorry that I was misinformed, my neighbors were misinformed. I've had several community meetings about the last one because I wanted them to have the information that it is not the city closing the street belongs to the developer. And that's all I have to say about that. May I have a motion for PZ1?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Porter, did you vote for it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know, I didn't have that background, so thank you.
okay.
Yep.
The motion carries unanimously. And may I have a motion for PZ 8?
So moved.
Time out.
I'm sorry.
PZ8 is a quasi-judicial hearing. It's an appeal, and we should see if the parties are here to present their appeal.
PZ, hold on one second. May I have a motion for PZ 5?
Move.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And Chair, that PC5 will be amended pursuant to a substitution memo dated February 26, 2026. Thank you.
Okay. So PZ 8, just for some context with PZ 8, PZ 8 is an infill lot that I'm building affordable housing on. It's my first-time homeowners program, right? So I take these vacant lots that are within District 5 all over to provide true affordable housing in the sense that it is now first-time home ownership opportunities. This particular lot happens to fall in the historic Palm Grove neighborhood. And I have been very vocal about the Historic Preservation Board and its requirements. I sell these homes at cost. $300,000 for the single-family homes, $250-ish thousand for the townhouses. This was being held up by HEP with respect to a roof. Can they have a shingle roof, or do they have to have what other kind?
Tile.
The tile roof, which would cause a significant increase in the cost to the home. There are homes in the historic Palm Grove that have tile roofs, correct?
Shingle roof.
Shingle roofs, correct. So I just want to give you some context. And I am doing this across District 5. One of the families, along with the second mortgage that the city will hold, interest-free, forgivable, and other subsidies, I made it stackable so that you can get down payment assistance from Miami-Dade County, the MD program, as well as if a bank is offering some subsidy, and the city also offers an additional subsidy to keep it so that low to moderate income families can afford to chase the American dream and be a part of that. It creates generational wealth. They become stakeholders in their communities and a sense of pride for families. It changes the trajectory of families. And I don't want policies that are arbitrary to stop the forward movement of someone finding their forever home.
Motion to grant the appeal.
But we gotta hear that side.
Good morning, Mayor, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Victor Turner, Director of Housing and Community Development. I have some images I want to enter into the record. Madam Chair, you captured all that I was going to say, probably, but just to give a little more background, Housing Community Development is acting as the owner-developer of a property at 411 Northeast 69th Street. As the Chair mentioned, in the Palm Grove Historic District, this project unit is being funded with general obligation bonds. The proposed structure is 3-bedroom, 2 baths, about 1,400 square feet. Construction costs about $306,000. It is the department's opinion and position that it will not take away from the historic nature of the neighborhood. The other structures around the neighborhood you'll see have shingle roofs. So it is our appeal to the commission to remove the condition number 8 from the HELP board, which was to install a clay tile roof, and we'd be able to do a shingle roof. The construction cost difference is about $20,000 to $25,000 increase. Any questions?
So moved.
So, George, which way do we have to vote to remove?
So could I just ask one thing for the record, which is, does the do the historic requirements require barrel tiles in this particular neighborhood?
No.
No, thank you. So since the city is appealing the decision, a motion to grant the appeal would mean that the alternative roofing system could be used. A motion to deny the appeal would mean that they would be required, as the HEP board decided, to use barrel tiles.
George,
Motion to grant the appeal.
So we want to grant the appeal.
You want to grant the appeal if you want to.
Okay, I have a
provide the
motion.
alternative.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item carries unanimously,
Thank you.
As amended?
as amended. And now we have DI1, discussion item.
Yeah, that was,
Commissioner, do you still want?
so the last commission meeting that we had, we were talking about a succession plan to substitute the police chief, which I always understood that was stepping down in October. And just wanted to put on the record, but actually, because we kind of left it vague what we were actually doing and how it was going to be done. And my understanding is that, and we spoke about this yesterday, that 3 months prior to October, you were going to start the transition. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Now, what I just wanted to ask you, before the 3 months, is there going to be a search? Or are we going to wait for the last 3 months for the search and then question?
Commissioner, we will have an appointed police chief before that transition begins 3 months prior to Chief Morales' retirement. And I will have made the selection beforehand.
So are you saying that, you will start the process 3 months before October, and then sometime between, June or July, August, September, and then October, by October, you'll have a new...
We will name a new police chief prior to the transition beginning 3 months prior to Chief Morales' departure and retirement. So 3 months prior to, you will know who the successor is, and then we will start the transition in order to ensure continuity of service to the community.
Okay, thank you.
And that shall conclude the discussion.
Madam Chair, before we close the item, please, if I could just address one small thing. Manny Morales, Chief of Police, since it does affect the chief, and this is the discussion item that we're on, I can absolutely understand where Commissioner Rosado is coming from, what he's doing and why he's doing it, and the concerns that Commissioner Gabela has when it comes to RE6. If I could just offer an option that does both things, limits liability on the city and ensures full transparency to the public. I would offer that we have our Office of Equal Opportunity and Diversity Programs, which is HIPALITE, which is an entity separate from the Miami Police Department, to go ahead and conduct a full investigation with the findings being made public to make sure that everyone is assured that the actions that we're taking were or were not in compliance. This accomplishes both things that I mentioned, transparency for our community, and limits the liability and puts the best interest of the city of Miami in the forefront. So since it is my understanding that the item did not receive a vote, it could be called for reconsideration if you so wish to do so.
Right. That is true, and I don't even know if it needs to be reconsidered. I'd check our parliamentarian. It could be brought back up, and I'm reticent to say this, but I just wanted to say, as Commissioner Gabela said, our advice was that this is a business decision. We don't know what will happen in court. We may prevail. I have an excellent attorney who's ready to go and has prevailed in similar cases. But you never know when you go to trial what could happen. There are 32 counts in this case. All the jury has to do is pick one count. It could be the least responsible count. And the jury may decide, we voted no on 31 counts, let's give them a 32nd count. That would, since this case is in federal court, that would trigger the full boat of attorney's fees. And so we would end up paying probably as much or more in attorney's fees than we would in the settlement. And that's the unfortunate thing. We're not putting anything under the rug. These are very serious allegations. We've fought it. We believe we've honorably fought it. But at the end of the day, it's purely a business decision for the city to make in our estimation.
I don't know if this commission has an appetite to rehear. Doesn't look like it.
Look, I would state it on the record again. My decision, okay, to settle this case is purely based on what George Weisson had just said and what he said to me when this was first brought up to me. Period, end of story. And it's yet again, I don't think anybody's attempting to sweep anything under the rug. Okay, let me make that very clear. You know, it's just a business decision from my standpoint. You know, I don't want the taxpayer to lose, 1 point something, $2 million, we've been saying,
I agree.
we've been saying since, I'm sorry.
I agree
Madam Chair,
with you.
I just want to say one more thing. Since I came, to become a commissioner, and I've been here for 2 years and now 2 months, 2 years and 3 months, I've always advocated without going into the details of the Fuller case, for example, okay, in Carollo. I'm not going to go into the details to jeopardize us, but I've always been advocating in those cases to settle. From day one, George, when we had the same meetings, you know what I mean? There have been differences of opinion. You know what I mean? When we had the redistricting, that's settled, I can talk about that, right? I was always for settling because, the worst case was going all the way to the end and dragging this out. And then your residents, my residents, nobody knew what commissioner was what and in what area. And there was just a complete mess going on. And this is the same thing that we're doing here. We're, for me, I'm just trying to save the taxpayer money and not get us into a situation, a quagmire situation where we drag this out and then at the end we lose. And again, it's not going to be $400,000, folks. It's going to be, in the middle or two. And I leave it at that. So but I will go along with whatever my colleagues decide.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
We settle cases almost every commission meeting based on the advice of counsel, being our city attorneys. It's never been an issue until allegations started swirling around about this one running against that one and all of that kind of stuff. I try not to make my decisions based on personalities. Every commission meeting, almost, we settle. There's a lawsuit, and there's no liability, there's no admission of this or that on either part. We settle. I'm in favor of settling the case. This is what we were advised. I'm in favor of settling the case, but it's what my colleagues want. I stay this, and I'm not going to change that because I'm going to let somebody get us, and then I'll be able to, like Commissioner Gabella said, don't blame me. No, I'm standing on it now that this was the recommendation from staff that we should settle this case. We do it all the time. And this one has extenuating facts and personalities that otherwise would settle if that weren't the case. And that's unfortunate because we shouldn't govern ourselves like that.
So I would reconsider and motion to settle the case, if any of my colleagues would go along.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, Chair, who's the seconder?
Commissioner Escalona.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry I didn't get the opportunity to speak. I'd actually like to request a deferral, and I would strongly encourage you all to read this and then let me know what you think.
I read everything because I enjoy reading depots.
But wait a minute. Let's make something clear here, okay? Let's make something clear here based on what you just said. This is a settlement, meaning that the other side is willing to settle. The other side is willing to settle. Now, we wouldn't have the settlement, you know what I mean? So we can read that, but hey, why is the other side willing to settle? Because if I'm in the right, I go to the end. You know what I mean? I go to the end, right? So why are they willing to settle? That part, you know what I mean? I don't get. So, again, I motioned to settle the case.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
4-1. Now, we have a shade meeting that we can't take up until 1 o'clock. I have Black History Luncheon on my patio, but that's not until 12, so the meeting is in recess until 1:30.
1:30. Thank you.
Thank you.